Hey, it's Michael Tiny Saul with the market recap for the week ending Friday, December 14th, and the look ahead to the week starting Monday, December 17th, 2012. Pretty rough weekend here with all the news and reports. Just that horrible tragedy up in Connecticut on Friday. And it's just terrible. I don't even know what to say that hasn't been said. I mean, my heart goes out to all those who have to experience this horror, and this is something that reverberates across the country and across the world. But those families that lost those 20 children, and the adults, the family of the adults as well, it's just terrible. I mean, those are wounds that will never fully heal, and it's amazing to me the amount of courage and bravery that exists in this world. And for those of you who know me, I'm very pro-military. I think that those that serve in our armed forces are some of the bravest people in the world. And what's amazing to me is you read the story about the teachers and who stepped in front of this scumbag to protect the children that were in their class. The one 26 or 27-year-old who hid the children in a closet and then told the gunman that they were in the gym. I mean, I can't even imagine being that brave. And for her to sacrifice her life, is just mind-boggling. Like I said, the amount of courage. So anyway, enough about that. I want to talk about the market, but just the reports that just keep coming out, and it's just so horrible. And like I said, everybody involved, the children and the adults. I mean, this is just really just like I said, a horrible situation. Anyway, I'm at a loss for words, and not just my normal stumbling on myself. So anyway, let's talk about the economic reports that are coming up this week. So usually I don't look at the yen, actually what's going on in Japan. This is, you select the currencies that you want to look at by looking at the filter if you go to Forex Factory. Anyway, but the lower house elections are Sunday, so could see some movement over in Japan. I don't know what the expectations are there, but just, it's rated a red here, and Forex Factory is pretty good when they rate their stuff. So let's see if anything happens over there on Sunday. You got Draghi speaking Monday morning at 9:30, right at the U.S. market open. We also have a couple of reports before. We have the 8:30 Empire State Manufacturing Index. Usually that doesn't move us much, but I remember a couple years ago it did, so I always have this in my mind that it has the potential to move us. Then we have this tick long-term purchases. Then Stein and Lacker speak on Monday. On Tuesday, not really much. I mean, in the U.S. here, you got the current account at 8:30. Wednesday, building permits, that's pre-market. And then you have the monetary policy statement in Japan and the overnight call rate. On Thursday, you have the weekly unemployment claims, and then you finally have some numbers during the U.S. session, the New York session. Existing home sales and the Philly Fed, and then Friday you got core durable goods, but really Thursday, and you have University of Michigan consumer sentiment, so that's something else that's during the day as well. But Thursday and Friday is really when the numbers during the trading day are coming out. Now, it is triple witching. It's the last triple witching of the year, obviously, because it's December. So we're in triple witch here, option expiration, and again, I will remind you, because I know I've said this numerous times, option expiration has a bullish tendency. Okay, it doesn't mean it always goes up during option expiration, but there is a bullish tendency, and I think that it has a chance to have some good travel range this week. Of course, there's still the news out there, fiscal cliff, and what could be going on in Europe still, and so there were still a lot of factors, but it's just a background indication. All right. So let's take a look at what happened. Coming into last week, I was talking about how we were set to move one way or the other. I thought we would go higher because of the way we were set up, but I wasn't banging my fist on the table saying, okay, yeah, we're definitely going higher. In the email, when we set up in a little bit of a different pattern, I had thought that we would definitely push a little bit higher at least. So we wound up getting a nice push up and then a pullback. Now, this pullback is okay. A lot of people are already calling this is the end of the move and we're going to sell off into the end of the year. I don't see any evidence of that. This pullback looks okay. It looks healthy. We've come up since the middle of November. We need a rest. This was a rest here for a day and a half. This was a rest for a few days. And now we have this rest. Now, right now, we're on support. So what makes this pullback okay is if the bulls come in and resume the push up. Okay? We have 145.25 as a line in the sand. If we break above that, I will be looking for a retest of highs. Now, it's not really that far from here. Okay? It's not really that big of a push from where we closed on Friday. I don't know. I'm just specking on the math here. I'm not going to figure it out. But it's about, what is it? About 5%, I would say. 7 points. No, less. It's less than 5% from here. Okay? So, yeah, I think there's a chance that we get to these highs. But this 145.25 is really the line in the sand. So, for Monday, I want to see if the bulls come in and start to buy this. I will be looking for weakness early, but I go over that in the daily email that you can subscribe to by going to the website. The link is in the description if you're not getting this from my email. But, yeah, I'm looking for early weakness on Monday if it holds for a potential buying opportunity. So get the Dow. Okay, same deal here. All right, this is came out of the wedge to the upside. A lot of people always say, okay, one wedge is bullish and one wedge is bearish. It's not. A wedge is a consolidation pattern. It's a coil, and usually it'll spit out one way or another. A rising wedge is not always bearish. A falling wedge is not always bullish. Okay, here are the Qs. Now, this is definitely something to pay attention to here. Okay, the Qs are below all the moving averages, so you would say if you have to rate it, you'd probably rate it bearish, or I would probably rate it bearish. But you also have to look at the overall structure here, and look how the moving averages are going sideways. Okay, and we're in this consolidation, this multi-week consolidation here. So if it breaks through, yeah, I mean, we have a gap here that could potentially fill as support, but if it rotates up, if the market goes higher, the Qs have a chance of rotating up back to these highs up here and see if they could play a little catch up with the SPY. The Russell has been acting well. Okay, it was holding up the best last week. It popped up, it pulled back. Again, same scenario. See if the bulls come in and push it up. I'm looking for early weakness on Monday that holds for a potential buying opportunity. Okay, let's go through the sectors. Semiconductors slam their 200-day and then pull back. So we want to see maybe this is a slingshot, pulling it back before it can go higher. Again, got to see the buyers coming in. Clad tanker, okay, not bad here. Came up, held the 50 and the 20 on the way back. See if this can go up to the 200-day, but really has to get through the 200-day before it gets really bullish. NVIDIA, one I definitely want to keep my eye on. Okay, it's in a nice coil here. Again, I don't think NVIDIA is going to run by itself unless there was specific news, right? And then, of course, it can always run by itself. But if the market turns up, if the semiconductors turn up, watch this one. You got the 200-day moving average as potential resistance, but that's still not a bad little trade there if it can get going. How about Intel? Okay, Intel looks like it could have its W in, could be ready to move here. 50-day moving average is potential resistance. You see it rejected just shy of it there, but seeing if it's pulling back to try to get through it. If it does, watch these highs above 22. How about Broadcom? Yeah, Broadcom not looking so hot. Had a couple of nasty days to the downside. So it could be a little stretched here, but I'm not really looking, in my opinion, that bullish here with this kind of hack job here. All right, let's look at the banks. And you can see here the banks, whoops, okay, pull back here. Back below the 50-day, but still not a lot of damage. I think it's more sideways than anything. We'll look at the XLF. I mean, this is bullish in my opinion. Right? We pushed up here. This is a reversal candle, not good. But if it can hold this support, see if it can turn back up and catch the highs a year. Let's look at some banks. Bank of America in a nice coil here. Really showing good relative strength overall. If it pulls back, which is possible, watch this for support. Basically the $10 area, maybe a little bit below that. Okay, he got support right here, but it doesn't have to. I mean, this is a pretty nice pattern. Let's pull up the weekly chart real quick. Okay, I mean, I don't really use the 200 on the weekly, but you could say the 11s would be the next target. How about JP Morgan? It looks like they want to test the highs. How about Citigroup? Nice. Again, acting well. Support underneath, but if it can push up, watch there. Northern Trust. Yes, just sideways. How about Zion? Yeah, look at this little coil under the 50-day moving average. I love these types of patterns. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Doesn't mean, oh, this is a lock. I'm not saying that. I like these because you know where you're wrong very quickly. If you're trading this for a move above the 50-day moving average and it breaks, then you know you can move your stop very quickly. Okay? Once it breaks out, you want to see it stick above there. You don't want to see it come back down into the range, and But so anyway, I like patterns like this right at key decision areas, right at inflection points, because you know where you're wrong very quickly. How about the brokers? Okay, the brokers acting okay. Again, nice little pattern here, right under the 200-day. So will it reject? I mean, it doesn't look like this type of rejection where it just runs up and gets smacked. This one is stair-stepping up, so it does have a shot. But again, the market has to turn for this. Okay, again, here's Goldman Sachs. We drew this last week. And you can see here, has to take out basically last week's highs. But Goldman could be a nice trade. Morgan, on its way, looks like to the highs. How about a Legg Mason? More choppy than anything. Okay, how about the biotechs? All right, biotechs, stair-stepping up here. Watch this for potential support. How about the cyclicals? We skip them. Okay, they're looking okay. I mean, it's range-bound, but they're above the moving average, which is good. Okay, and this is what you want to see. This is where the funds are interested, right? The cyclical stocks. So see if they can get up to the highs on the year. How about the XLB? Yeah, above the moving averages, but needs some work. Let's look at a couple of stocks like Caterpillar. Okay, watch the 200-day for resistance. John Deere coming out of its little flag here. See if it can get going. Maybe it'll try for 90. Sorry about the sniffles. Gold. A lot of people are being bullish on gold. I don't see it right now. I see we're more choppy than anything here. We have entered a seasonally bullish period. For gold, but right now I'm not seeing much here. Here's silver, same deal. It's between the 50 and the 200. That's choppy to me. Oil. All right, oil I still think looks lower. Hasn't broken yet, but watch this. You watch the USO here. You got a potential pattern right here to see if it'll break from this. See if it can retest down to the lows. Exxon rejected the 50-day moving average. ConocoPhillips, more range-bound than anything here. How about the glamour stocks? Let's look at Apple. Retest of these lows. Okay, obviously the NASDAQ, one of the reasons that the NASDAQ's the weakest, and probably the reason that the NASDAQ's the weakest, is because of Apple. But a nice bounce off of those lows, couple of point bounce. Now we want to see if this is a small double bottom. Okay, the first targets to the upside here are 525.80, and then we got the moving averages up here. That 525.80 fills the gap. Amazon. Okay, whoa, this looks a little too much work here. Okay, so yeah, I was showing this last week how it came up to the 78.6, and it could go either way from here. In this case, last week, it decided to go down, but it didn't get crushed or anything like that. So let's see from here if it can build up some steam and break through and test these highs up here. Google. Yeah, I mean, this looks like an inverted head and shoulders, and that would bring it, let's do the measured move on this. That would bring it down to, up to, 636, up to, let's call it this high at 706. I'm just rounding, so 70 points, right? Let me make sure. 36 to 06 is 70 points, so 70 points on top of it would bring it to 806 would be the measured move if this is a legitimate inverted head and shoulders. How about rim? Yeah, just on the move here, and we spotted this early. If you look back on the videos, this is just a monster move down here. This coil here, this coil here. So yeah, it's working its way here. This was going to be one of my January effect stocks, but not anymore. This thing is cruising here and could reach the high on the year if the momentum continues. Okay, if we don't know. Facebook took a little hit on Friday. I believe there was a lockup then. Watch the 20 EMA for potential resistance. I'm sorry, support. I keep saying the wrong word there. LinkedIn in a small coil here. This is what I call a mini coil. All right, it's a type of mini coil here. And you could see, also call it a flag if you want, except there's no impulse, so it's really not a bull flag. But it's coiled up. Could try to test up to this up here, this 115's number. What is this? 115.40. And then we could go up here maybe to 125 if the momentum really kicks in. Potash, also in a nice little pattern here. See if this could push up to its 200-day moving average. Las Vegas Sands, choppy. How about APOL? That was moving last week a little bit. Could be trying to bottom out here. You got the 50-day as potential resistance. Let me look at a couple of others. Give me 1 second here. Which one did I want to look at here? I got a list. Okay, watch this ASR. It's doesn't trade on strong volume, but is in a pretty strong uptrend. Hold on, let me pause. I'll be okay. Yeah, I knew there was one I forgot. How about Adobe? We highlighted this a couple weeks ago. Okay, pull up the weekly chart. Beautiful, gorgeous breakout. I know I got a couple emails from people asking me questions on it, but I don't know if how anybody did or something. But this was a beautiful breakout here, and it has achieved its target, I believe. Let me double check here. 38.20. No, not yet. 10 cents shy. So it doesn't mean it has to stop there, but this is just how gorgeous a breakout can be. There's another stock from last week that just broke out as well. This TSO broke out of this little coil here. All right, TSO. This is gorgeous as well. So a couple of news items. The newsletter is set to launch in the middle of the month, which is basically now. There's going to be a free trial. Everybody's going to be offered it. If you're not on my email list yet, sign up at stockmarkettrendx.com. All you have to do is put your email in. The newsletter is going to be on a trial basis, and then we're going to launch the pay model the first of the year. But when you see what it has to offer, we're going to be going into details on stock analysis like this, market timing, all that stuff, and you'll have the opportunity to be in the live room also. We'll be managing the newsletter in the live room, as well as continuing to do the futures and the gap fades on some stocks, etc. So keep your eyes open for that. And that's really it. I'm looking for us to go higher here if the bulls come back in. Like I said, I think this is a pretty nice pullback. I think it's good. I think it's healthy, but gotta see the buyers come back in here. So that's it. Have a great week, and I will talk to everybody again via the morning email or in next week's video.